Hey, what's up, everybody? It's just Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO Show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment. We give you guys a fresh perspective on things, and now we see them. And today we got a hell of a show for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, we're trying to hit our goal of 200,000 subs by the end of this month, so we really appreciate it if you help this out. What's beef? Beef is when you got no energy. Beef is when you not energy. Beef. Hey. Boy, oh boy, we got some beef up in these streets. We got some beef up in these streets. And it's getting pretty heated. So what happened? As you guys know, Nikola Jokic just won his third regular season MVP. And it's a bit of a controversial award because it was a close race between himself and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander of the Oklahoma City Thunder, although the voters, the people that voted for the MVP, it wasn't really close, but a lot of people felt like it should have been close. So after he won the award, Shaquille O'Neal was on Inside the NBA, and he was asked to weigh in, and essentially he said, listen, as a fellow big man, I like to see big men flourish. I'm a fan of Nikola Jokic, but I thought that award should have gone to SGA. And he gave his reasons why. Then later on in the show, they brought on Nikola Jokic. And what I like about Shaq was he mentioned, or he said to Nikola Jokic what he said before. He's like, listen, I love you, blah, 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 blah. And Nikola Jokic took it in stride and said, hey, listen, that's your opinion, whatever. Now, why do I think that was okay? The reason I think that was okay was the following. Because Nikola Jokic didn't get 100% of the votes, which means that other people thought that another player should have won. So therefore, it means that they're varying opinions. And all Shaq did, in my personal view, was just give his opinion. Now, do you see something like that happen often where you have, an analyst, former player, go out there and say it to the player? No, but it happens from time to time, and that's what Shaq did. So that happened. Then I tuned in to a clip on Nightcap with Chad Johnson, Shannon Sharpe, Gilbert Arenas. And they were discussing Nikola Jokic winning MVP, and they were reacting to the comments that Shaq had to make about Nikola Jokic. And that's when Shannon Sharpe started kind of getting at Shaq, and he was. So that's the audio we want to play first to give this entire beef some context. But before we even get into that, this video is brought to you by our brand new sponsor, Game Time. Game Time Tickets is an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets faster and easier than ever. For example, I'm super excited about the game between the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves this Sunday. With Game Time Tickets, I can easily pick the best tickets for me. I love that I can choose between different deals. I have the option to select the cheaper deal, the best option deal, or my favorite, the flash deal. The flash deal gives me the option to find discounts that I can only find on Game Time. Once I select the ticket I want, I can view my seat. And it's not just restricted to the NBA. I can also look for the best ticket deals for other sports like football, baseball, or concerts, or comedy or theater shows. Included in my purchase, I also have a 24-hour return guarantee, a lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is we want to play exactly what Shannon Sharpe had to say on his show. And then we're going to come back and get into what Shaq had to say in response. Take a listen to what Shannon had to say here.
And I don't care. Look, I understand that Shaq got 4 titles and he has 3 finals MVPs. But Shaq know deep down, we should be having a discussion. For GOAT, Shaq name is never brought up in the discussion. Now, we bring his name up with big mans, with Will, Russell, and Kareem, and rightfully so. But we're never going to see another guy Shaq's size with his athleticism that was as dominant as him.
Yeah.
And he robbed himself because he didn't take it serious enough. Did he take it serious? Not nearly as serious as he should have.
Mm-hmm.
Shaq should have 5 MVPs. Shaq should have 7 titles. And I think he sees a guy like Nikola Jokic that's not as dominant as him and gets 3 and 4 years.
Yeah.
And people are talking about him. And they talk about him dominant big man. But see, when you historically great, they talk about you as great basketball player, the GOAT. And Shaq is never brought up. When they say Tom Brady, even though he plays quarterback, they say Tom Brady is the greatest football player.
Mm-hmm.
Ocho, you and I debate. We say Jerry, we say Lawrence Taylor, or whomever.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
Tom Brady, although he played quarterback, Shaq is never brought up in those discussions when it comes to GOAT. He's never in front of Magic. He's never in front of LeBron. He's never in front of Jordan. He's never in front of Kareem. He's never really in front of Russell. When we talk about GOATs, those Mount Rushmore. And I think a part of him is envious of that.
Oh,
But he doesn't have anybody to blame but himself.
But do you think it's because he's a center though? Obviously, when we talk about the GOAT conversation,
Nikola Jokic is a center. Kareem is a center.
But okay.
Kareem got 6.
When I think of
Russell
Jokic,
got 5. Chamberlain got 4. What are we talking about here? Magic got 3. Bird got 3. Moses Malone was a center. He has 3. What are we talking about here, Ocho?
I mean, we talk about Jokic. I see him as I'm trying. He can shoot. He got mid range. He shoots a 3. It's a different type of center for today's game, as opposed to Shaq being in the post.
Kareem didn't do nothing but throw the sky hook. Wilt didn't do nothing but the finger roll.
You know, there's
So what now?
Wait, so when we talk about the greatest basketball players of all time, as far as the GOAT conversation,
Yeah.
Shaq's name is never brought up in that?
Have you ever heard it?
No, because it's normally just Kobe, MJ, and LeBron. That's it.
Kareem.
No, I never heard of Kareem.
So you heard what Shannon Sharpe had to say there. Now let me get into what Shaq had to say, because it was scathing. So Shaq posts on his Instagram. He has an image we're going to hold up. NFL's 100 greatest, ranks the top 100 characters in NFL, and former Denver Broncos and Baltimore Raven tight end Shannon Sharpe lands at 51. Then Shaq writes the following. You took me sticking up for Shy as jealousy of Joker. Shows how smart you are and how you say anything to get clicks. So here's some clickbait for you. If you ain't ranked in the top 10 in your profession, then you cannot speak to me. Don't forget, I know what you did to get where you're at. Wonder what that means. Me jealous sounds like you jealous. I know you're trying to stay relevant by gossiping on your podcast. We don't believe you. You need more people. And in case you forgot, 4 rings, 3 finals MVPs, top 50 and top 75, Google me. And to be quite frank, all of this new success you got, you still under me. You don't know my work ethic, but according, I was less than you, but I'm worth more than you. I work less than you, but I'm worth more than you. Make it make sense. You love to. If you need help, making money is better ways than gossiping. I'm too old for this bleep. Love always the most dominant big man ever who never took it serious. Remember, I don't know you. And in the words of Skip Bayless, I'm better than you. G14 classification, I have it. You don't. Not in my profession, and your GOAT debate never wanted to be the GOAT. I wanted to be who should greet me as the most dominant ever. The apex predator. Whew. 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 Shaq ain't playing. Shaq is not playing. You can see that struck a chord with Shaq. And you know what? It's not the first time. I remember when Kobe, I think he had his last interview, most famous interview at least I know of, was when he was on Patrick Bet-David's show. And he spoke about this exact same thing about Shaq's work ethic. And then Shaq got upset with one of the things that Kobe said, and Shaq responded to him. But here's the fundamental difference. And if you see this video, tell me where I'm wrong. I know you're not going to tell me, but if you ever do, tell me where I'm wrong. I think the reason, even though Shaq responded to Kobe, I think the reason why it was easier for Shaq to deal with it coming from Kobe is, number one, because of Kobe Bryant's status in the sport that they play. Kobe's a top 10 guy. So Shaq is more open to listening to a player of that caliber critique him, number one. Number two, they have a relationship. So obviously, I think Shaq knows that Kobe didn't mean it in a malicious way. And maybe what Kobe was saying is that Shaq could have been that, even for as dominant as he was. And he was dominant. He could have been even more dominant. So I think Kobe was also complimenting the sheer ability that Shaq had. So Shaq was able to deal with it. In the case of Shannon, I think Shaq wasn't as tolerant. Number one. Number two, Shannon was getting at Shaq. Like, Shannon ain't no innocent bystander here. He was talking about him in a matter-of-fact way. And if I'm Shaq, I would have felt a type of way. I would have felt a type of way, especially with the tone in which you were discussing me. So I think what Shaq said in terms of his response, I think it's fair, to be honest. I don't think he went overboard or anything like that. Shannon was talking about his place in the sport. Shaq did the same thing. I think it's fair. I don't think there's anything worse than, I don't think it's unfair or anything like that or out of bounds. I think it's fair. These are my thoughts. What I want to know from you guys, what do you think about the exchange? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show. Peace.